Hey everybody, this is the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, March the 18th, 2024. As this week unfolds, it's going to build up to Sunday into Monday, a full moon lunar eclipse. A lunar eclipse is like a regular full moon every 4 weeks, but it's like a full moon on steroids. And so the impact, instead of lasting for a day or two, could last, if it impacts your horoscope, for a month or two. And full moon lunar eclipses, one of the themes is letting go, wrapping up, bringing things to conclusions, really testing relationships. But before I unpack what's happening every day and get into more detail of this lunar eclipse, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. And if you go into the description box underneath the video, you'll find links to sign up for my free daily horoscope message or how to inquire about booking an astrology reading. All right, let's start with Monday, March the 18th. And I always start with the moon because the moon represents the general public tone, the public reactions. And we're going to start off on the 18th with the moon in Cancer. Now, Cancer is the sign that is ruled by or associated with the moon. So the moon in Cancer, so the moon's at home in Cancer. And all that, it's very family-oriented, very nurturing, very compassionate. But this nurturing, kind moon in Cancer can sometimes be a bit moody because it can be very emotional. But it's going to be in a sextile, a very favorable transit to expansive, optimistic Jupiter around 6-7 a.m. Pacific time. And then in the late afternoon, now the moon will be in harmony, sextile again, to the planet Uranus. Uranus is all that progressive, independent. So when the moon, the emotional moon, is in harmony with Uranus, it can trigger a lot of exciting new emotional reactions. But this is really good for if you're trying to break a habit and get out of an old stuck routine. On Tuesday, the moon continues in Cancer, but by late morning Pacific time, it's going to be in harmony with the Pisces sun. So when the moon and the sun are in harmony, the energy is just more free-flowing, it's easier, it's good for relationships, and at 12:33 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, the moon enters into Leo. The moon goes through each sign every 2.5 days. When the moon is in Cancer, there's more of a tendency to want to just stay close to home, to be with family, be more private. When the emotional moon goes into fiery Leo, Leo is it's very extroverted, it's outgoing, it's more playful. So you're going to start the work week on Monday with the moon in Cancer, and there's some good aspects to it, but it's more quiet, more reserved, more low-key compared to when you go into Tuesday after 12:33 p.m. Pacific time, that there's more of this extroverted, outgoing, playful energies. Plus, the sun leaves Pisces and goes into Aries. The sun also goes from sign to sign about every 4 weeks. When the sun goes into Aries, that's going to be around 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. That is the spring equinox in the north. Whether you're in the north or in the south, the equinox means equal light, equal darkness. So 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. And so this is a very powerful day because the sun is going into Aries. When the sun's in Pisces, it's a more reflective period, introspective period. Pisces is nurturing and kind, but it's the last sign of the zodiac. So there's a lot of this introspection wrapping up. Then when the sun goes into Aries, it is starting a whole new excitement. Aries is a fire sign. There's a lot of enthusiasm. And the moon, the emotional moon, is also in Leo. So Leo's a fire sign. The sun in Aries is a fire sign. So we're going to see a lot more motivation, excitement, energies kicking off. And Wednesday, the moon continuing in Leo, there's not much else happening, which could be a good thing, but by early evening Pacific time, the moon will be in a hard angle to Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is the great benefic. It brings opportunities. It's optimistic. It's expansive. But when there's a bit of a tension to the Jupiter, and from the public moon, we have a tendency to overinflate, overexpect, overspend, overindulge. And like I always say, but you're having a smile on your face, you're enjoying it. You might just realize the next day that you kind of overdone it. And that's early evening Pacific time. On Thursday, the moon continues in Leo, but the sun in Aries is now going to be very favorable with Pluto. Pluto is the lord of the underworld. It can deal with counseling, the occult, astrology, or that sun is being influenced by Pluto. This could be very favorable for research, for studying, for investigation, because that sun is putting a spotlight on all that Pluto that has a lot to do with things that are hidden and the underworld. But it's also the planet of transformation. So it's very favorable for counseling and astrology. At the same time, so the sun is empowering transformational Pluto all day. Venus, the planet of love and union and creativity. But Venus once a year, because Venus goes through all around the chart, around all the signs once a year. So also on the 21st, on Thursday, as the sun's in harmony with transformational Pluto, Venus is aligning with Saturn, pragmatic, responsible Saturn. The good news is Venus to Saturn can test relationships, but it can be very good for creative business projects. It's also could be good for finance and business if you're staying really focused and being really organized. That's all that Saturn energy. But when Venus aligns with Saturn, your relationship is being tested. But fortunately, the sun's in harmony with Pluto. So this could actually be a pretty good day if you want to do some real, go into counseling, have an astrology reading about your relationship, or just have a really heartfelt, deep conversation about your relationship. And the sun Pluto can bring about a potential healing. So on Friday, the 22nd, now the moon is in Virgo for those 2.5 days. Virgo is an earth sign. It's sensible, it's practical, it's analytical. Where the moon was in Leo, Leo tends to be more playful, romantic, creative. when the moon goes into Virgo, there's more of this energy to be more productive, get to your job tasks. Also, Virgo can be dealing with health care. So you might also now be paying more attention to what you're eating, good for starting a diet and exercise program. Mars, athletic, ambitious, assertive Mars goes through all the signs once every 2 years. But on the 22nd of March, Mars is going into Pisces until May the 8th. It's usually in a sign for about 6 weeks. So there's this kind of this background energy of Mars in Pisces. The positive is all that assertive Mars energy, positive with Pisces, could be a lot of spiritual work, creative work, volunteering, a lot of selflessness. Could be good when it comes to exercising, because Mars is the athletic planet in the sign of Pisces. Swimming, because Pisces is a water sign. Yoga, because Pisces is all that spiritual energies. Dancing. So that is this favorable energy of Mars in Pisces. But you got to be careful, because the shadow side of Mars in Pisces is your drive and enthusiasm. When it goes into Pisces, could get kind of unfocused and dissipated. And so your ambition and drive, it tends to be more unfocused. And you may not have the drive and push as you would ordinarily. Now, Saturday, the moon continues in analytical, service-oriented, work-oriented Virgo, but it's going to be a good day because the moon in Virgo is going to be in harmony with expansive lucky Jupiter in Taurus around 8-9 a.m. Pacific time. Virgo is an earth sign. Jupiter in Taurus, Taurus is an earth sign. So that emotional flow of the moon, trying to get your emotional needs met, the moon being in more sensible, practical Virgo, will be in harmony with protective, expansive, lucky Jupiter. So this could be very favorable for making long-range plans. That could be the Jupiter, especially with educational plans, traveling plans, that's Jupiter. Or updating your website or doing a whole email marketing campaign. That's the promotion and publishing of Jupiter. But just emotionally, you're going to be feeling more optimistic with that Jupiter energy, much more hopeful. Early evening, 6-7 p.m. Pacific time, going into a Saturday evening. Now that sensible moon in Virgo, but will be in harmony with eclectic, excitable, unpredictable Uranus. So it brings a lot of new, exciting energies for your Saturday evening, not just doing the same old routine, up for something that's different and more interesting. Then we go into Sunday, the 24th. Now, the moon continues in Virgo, but around 9-10 a.m. Pacific time, the moon will be opposite Neptune. Opposite is interacting with others. So the Neptune is all this nebulous, confusing energies. So relationships, especially because of the opposition, interacting with others is a relationship. There might be some emotional disappointments, that's the Neptune, jumping to conclusions, misunderstandings, that's the Neptune. And then the moon goes void, of course. We didn't have much of it this week, but when the moon is void, of course, from 8:50 a.m. Pacific time until 1:38 p.m. Pacific time, it is when you don't want to start any important new projects, you just want to stay the course, keep doing the same routine. It's good for resting. It's good for reflecting. But at 1:38 p.m., as the moon leaves the void of course cycle in Virgo, it then goes into Libra. And by late afternoon, the moon, that emotional public moon in harmonious social Libra, will be in harmony with Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign, Libra is an air sign. Air is all this more mental activities, but having the emotional moon in harmony with Pluto, you're able to have more deep, profound, heartfelt conversations, because with all the air signs, your mind is being very activated and stimulated and curious. You might be more interested also, not just having a real heartfelt conversation, but you might be more interested in all things Plutonian. Astrology, psychology, the occult. But also Pluto might be about research, investigations, and doing a lot of deep introspection. That's Pluto ruling the underworld. And right after midnight, around midnight, just after midnight, of going into the 25th, Pacific Daylight Time, will be the full moon lunar eclipse. And it's like I said, it's like a full moon. It could bring a lot of things to a head and be very emotional, but it's a lunar eclipse. And if it's impacting a planet in your chart and within a couple of degrees, that the impact of that lunar eclipse could be impacting you for a month, for up to 2 months. Not just the regular 1 or 2 days with a regular full moon. And so one of the things with a full moon, but certainly a lunar eclipse in Libra, Libra is the sign of relationships. And a full moon lunar eclipse is when the moon is opposite the sun. The opposition is relationships, interacting with others. So this is a powerful eclipse that can be letting go of old relationships that no longer serve you. But it can be because the moon is in harmony with Pluto, as we're getting to that lunar eclipse, is the harmony of Pluto, is you're able to do some real deep healing and coming to a lot of understanding and resolution. So there could be a big positive shift with relationships. I want to thank you for watching. If you like information on how to book an astrology reading or to sign up for my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next week, be safe and well.